Undercover.
Too bad, girl. Well, your probation period is over, Grace. Yet you seem to be showing so much potential,
said the head of the law firm after being slapped in the face and hit in the head with a stack of papers by a delicate and fragile beautiful girl, whom he was boldly and openly harassing at the moment while she was diligently typing under his dictation. Once again, Grace had to leave her job due to sexual harassment by either the company's male staff or the male boss. Once again, she had to go to an employment support organization.
Well, Grace Pearson, how do you manage to do that? You have 2 university degrees, knowledge of 5 foreign languages, and yet you're changing jobs for the 7th time in 3 months.
Grace was told by the human resources manager.
And you claim it's all because of abuse and sexual advances. With such an employment record, you're left with only one option: becoming a bouncer at a bar.
Grace burst into tears. The employee tried to console her.
Oh, come on, take it easy, or your mascara will run.
I don't wear mascara,
Grace replied.
Sure, tell me about it.
The HR employee stared intently into her face.
Oh, indeed. What a gift the Creator gave you. Your eyes and lips are just like a candy cane.
That is all they see in me, just sweet candy in a bright wrapper. However, I want to work. I want to contribute. I want to make a difference. Well, I dress modestly. I do not use cosmetics, let alone Botox or plastic enhancements. What else do I have to do to prevent men at work from hitting on me?
Grace tearfully explained.
In order for the men not to hit on you, they have to go extinct.
The human resources worker burst out laughing. Then added more seriously.
To avoid unwanted attention, it would be ideal if men respected personal boundaries. Well, Ms. Pearson, this is your last chance.
And gave the girl a new recommendation paper. Grace happily took the paper about a new job vacancy and the recommendation to the law firm from an employment support organization employee. On the way home in high spirits, she called her friend Greta and told her about the referral to the new job.
And where's the guarantee that there won't also be another horny genie with sticky hands?
Her friend Greta asked.
Everything is fine. This time it's an all-female team.
Grace assured her friend Greta. She promised to repay her debt and said she would meet Greta and her husband Jack this evening as soon as she returned from her first day at work. The friend called her husband and asked him to prepare a special dinner for Grace, as a surprise to celebrate her new job.
Grace got a job!
He exclaimed.
That's great, thank God. In that case, champagne is on me, and you can bring the cake.
Grace arrived at the new company with high expectations. She was immediately briefed on the situation.
The salary here is good, and the team is friendly,
they said.
What's with all the colorful balloons and decorations?
Grace asked.
Our boss is getting married. So, as they say, you're joining us at a festive time. And here's your workstation. Familiarize yourself with the documentation and get up to speed.
With enthusiasm, Grace began her work when suddenly a tall, young man in an elegant suit entered their office. He approached the girls working near the entrance.
Hello everyone,
he said, and then asked, looking at Grace.
And who is this?
She's the new one.
The girls replied. The man slowly, like a tiger ready to pounce on its prey, walked towards Grace.
Looks like our boss's fiancé is a real macho.
The girls remarked, watching the man stealthily approaching his target.
I haven't seen you here before.
The man said to the girl.
I'm the new one.
She replied.
A new face, or rather, a pretty face.
The man spoke, flirting with the girl. At that moment, the company's boss quietly entered the office.
Madam, please sign this document concerning the appointment of a new lawyer. Your signature is needed.
Yes, of course.
She replied.
Oh, look, there's your fiancé.
The secretary girl said to her. The lady looked closely at the desk where Grace was sitting. Sitting next to her, not hiding his passionate interest, was her young and handsome fiancé. The man smiled widely at the girl and then took Grace's hand and brought it to his lips for a kiss. Upon seeing this, the boss's eyes widened.
Who is this?
She asked.
This is Mr. Wilson.
The secretary replied.
Well, I can recognize my own fiancé. Who is next to him?
That's Grace Pearson, our new lawyer.
Do we need more lawyers?
Well, you signed the order appointing her.
The company's staff is fully staffed, and we don't need any new employees.
The boss dryly responded, tearing the document appointing Grace as a lawyer in her company into small pieces. The woman looked at her assistant with an unmistakable gaze, indicating what she should convey to Grace. Once again, Grace went home in tears. Her friends, unaware of what had happened, welcomed her with joy, holding a cake and started congratulating her.
Make a wish for your dream salary.
There won't be any salary, no job, no dream, nothing.
Grace sadly replied.
Why not? Your company has an all-female team, right?
Because men found me there, too. Why did I spend so many years studying? What's the point of this gold medal? Why the victory in the Olympics? I was foolish. I remember sitting on the windowsill and fantasizing about winning cases against corporations that pollute the air, the water, and the environment, about saving poor girls, men, and children from the dangers of human trafficking and injustice, about making people's lives better. And what did I get in return?
You still have your whole life ahead of you.
Her friends would tell her.
Whenever I go somewhere, everyone will just see me as a doll, that's all. I'm 23 years old, and it's all over already.
Oh God, I'd rather hang myself.
But you can still get married, right?
Her friend encouraged her.
It's the same thing.
Grace answered in despair.
Let's not panic. We don't live in Antarctica, after all. Look, here in the advertisement, they're seeking girls with a model-like appearance.
Her friend's husband interjected.
Ouch!
With disgust squeezed out Grace.
Got it. Not suitable. All right, here it is. Masseuses wanted in a salon.
The man turned the newspaper page.
Here! Look, secretary/assistant needed at the law firm Elmore and Partners. Interview tomorrow. Call to schedule.
I know how it will all go. Want me to tell you? I'll go there, and within 3 days, this Mr. Moore or one of his partners will start making a pass at me.
Grace predicted.
Grace,
Her girlfriend intervened.
can you strip away all the unnecessary thoughts and clearly articulate your main problem?
I can.
The girl tearfully replied.
It's my horrendous and repulsive appearance that hinders me from living.
Perfect. So, unlike male nature, we can change a woman's appearance.
Her friend Greta said, and began searching for clothes, wigs, her hairstyling tools, and everything else that could effectively disguise Grace, concealing her natural striking beauty. Her friend's husband, who worked as a sales consultant in a clothing boutique, also joined in. He quickly found some strange shades to transform Grace's image. Greta, Grace's girlfriend, a professional hairdresser and stylist, took matters into her own hands. A couple of hours passed, and Grace was simply unrecognizable.
Oh my goodness! This is Marilyn Monroe in a nightmare!
Exclaimed Jack, the husband of Grace's girlfriend.
Wrong. That's our Grace.
His wife replied. Grace was adorned in some strange attire, outdated shoes, a peculiar dark skirt and blouse, and most notably, under a small, unattractive black wig, her beautiful light wavy hair was cleverly concealed.
We spent an entire hour rehearsing her clumsy gait.
Her friend Greta said.
I had a biology teacher in my school. She was exactly the same, all the kids were afraid of her, but the principal respected her.
Said Jack.
Now I can confidently apply for jobs.
Grace said, lifting her head with newfound confidence. In the morning, Grace made a phone call and scheduled an interview at the law firm. When she arrived at the company, transformed and rejuvenated, she noticed a large group of young, attractive girls waiting in line for the interview. A young employee of the law firm, named Charlie, was about to instruct them. Grace observed the young man conducting the instruction with a mix of disbelief and amusement. It was unclear whether he was an immature show-off trying to impress the young applicants and appear like a rooster, or if he simply wanted to play a crude prank on them, provoking them into inappropriate behavior. Alternatively, perhaps he genuinely believed that his guidance would help the girls secure the desired job and entertain his boss at the same time. As one of the girls spoke up, asking him if he is that very Mr. Alex, the head of the law firm, he replied,
No, I'm even better. I am your personal interview instructor, whom you should trust like a dear father. I'm sure each one of you is curious about what it takes to get the job. It's brilliantly simple. Our boss, Alex Moore, is a young, passionate man, and what does that mean? It means he needs to be pleased.
Continued his teaching speech the cocky young rascal, who no one appointed to the position of trainer on how to seduce the boss. Grace couldn't stand his instructions. That was the last thing she needed. The idea of meeting the new management of the company in such a way was repulsive to her. And yet, the young man continued his hot instruction with enthusiasm.
So, dear ladies, unbutton the top button of your blouses. Roll up your skirts a bit shorter. Put on pleasant smiles, and the rest is easy. Your charm and charisma will do the trick.
At that moment, the deputy director of the firm entered the office, a serious middle-aged man.
Charlie, what's this modeling agency we have here?
He asked.
Well, Mr. Ben Levi, these are the new candidates for the position of secretary referent.
Replied Charlie. The deputy remembered that the head of the firm would be late today, as usual, so he decided to call him. The boss replied.
I remember perfectly well all my obligations regarding the client and the court proceedings scheduled for this week. As for the referent, you yourself constantly complain that I hire not secretaries but brainless models. So, choose one today without me. I rely on you completely.
He then hung up the phone. The deputy let out a heavy sigh, realizing the burden that had fallen on his shoulders, and said to himself,
"So help me God."
He picked up the intercom and instructed the young employee to invite the girls one by one for the interview. But something unbelievable happened. The girls seemed to take the young man's instructions on winning the boss's heart seriously. They started entering the office for the interview one by one as if it were some kind of light erotic show. One girl boldly placed her exposed leg on a chair in front of the deputy and started pulling out her job application from her lace stockings. Another girl literally unbuttoned the top button and entered the deputy's office, so to speak, with a plunging neckline. The man was shocked, not knowing where to hide from such sexual aggression. With each encounter with a new applicant, the deputy's hair stood on end and his eyes widened like saucers. One of the girls even started giving him a back massage right in his chair, which startled the man, and he protested.
"I don't need your massage. Leave me alone, please."
He even chased away the last girl, shouting,
"Get out of here!" "Charlie, all the personal interviews for today are over,"
he said with relief.
But what about me?
Grace tried to say, the only one left of all the applicants. The man calmly looked at the modestly dressed and outwardly reserved girl, as if someone had given him a powerful sedative, and with a sigh of relief said,
"Well, you can come in."
Grace entered the office and took a seat across from him.
"Come in, hello, have a seat. So, what do we have here?"
The deputy director took her application in his hands.
2 higher educations, fluency in 5 foreign languages, and 7 dismissals in 3 months. Well, how do you explain all this?
You see,
Grace began timidly.
it's all because of my appearance.
What despicable people.
The deputy said with sincere regret and horror.
How could they do such a thing? Well, you know, in my opinion, you have a perfectly normal.
The man paused for a long moment, searching for the words that seemed to have flown out of his head.
Appearance. Yes, yes, and I think we will work well together. Yes.
Grace couldn't believe her ears. She had been externally transformed to such an extent that her own mother probably wouldn't recognize her. Unattractive, plain gait, outdated office attire in shades of gray, and a strange short hairstyle. Plus, the intentionally altered unattractive voice. The deputy called the young man over and said,
"Here, meet our new secretary referent. Can I call you by your first name?"
The deputy asked the girl.
Of course.
"So, Grace it is,"
said the satisfied deputy.
Hello.
Turned Grace to young Charlie.
Excuse me.
Charlie replied slowly and puzzled.
"Charlie, please show Grace her new workplace."
To reassure the extremely bewildered Charlie, the deputy whispered to him as they left the office, with a great deal of amazement,
"She speaks 5 foreign languages. 5.
The young man looked at the girl with a crooked grin, said he would add her to the registry, and left. Watching the girl pick up piles of heavy files and documents from the floor, an elderly woman, who worked as a cleaner, approached Grace with a caring expression.
"Sweetie, let me help you. My name is Sofia Hernandez."
And I'm Grace.
"Pleasure to meet you, Grace."
How long have you been working here?
Asked the girl.
"As long as this troublemaker has been running the company, that's how long I've been here."
Are you talking about Mr. Moore? Well, he's a very good lawyer. I've read articles about him, not a single lost case, and experts have recognized him as the best specialist in divorce cases.
If only he were as good in his own life as he is in someone else's, your very good lawyer would be priceless,
replied the simple yet insightful elderly cleaning woman.
What's wrong with his life then?
Grace asked.
It's easier to say what's right with him. He's a mess. He never comes to work on time, changes women like gloves. And overall, I've never seen such a cynic as our Alex.
I think you're exaggerating,
Grace replied, tidying up the desk. Suddenly, the boss of the company entered the office.
Good morning, Mr. Alex. So, the court session has been postponed to the afternoon, and businessman Sherman will be here in about half an hour.
The deputy reported.
Did you find out who his wife hired?
Asked the boss.
An attorney from the firm Jason and Partners.
Jason? I can't even remember when was the last time he won something. Probably charging peanuts. So, there are no chances there.
What does Sherman want himself?
The deputy asked.
The standard package to rip his wife off and send her away without taking the case to court. She's been summoned.
The company's boss continued.
I want to show her the package of documents, so that she can see once again that she has no chances.
Then they need to be printed. Grace, please come in. Meet our new secretary referent, Grace Pearson.
Nice to meet you,
said the boss, barely turning his face towards the girl, and then, looking at her, he was horrified and his face changed as if he had seen an orangutan that had escaped from the zoo.
Hi.
He managed to squeeze out, looking at the girl's face. The deputy gave the girl a task, and she hurriedly left.
Is something wrong?
The deputy asked the boss.
What the hell? Have you lost your minds? Have you forgotten what a referent is? The referent is the face of the company. What does the client see first when they come to us? They see the face of the company. And tell me, dear colleagues, what will clients think of the company when they see a face like your Miss Fearsome?
Her surname is Pearson, not Fearsome.
The deputy corrected him.
I don't give a damn. Listen, Mr. Levi, fire her this instant. You guys are normal people. What kind of taste do you have? I'll never trust you with choosing a referent again.
Suddenly, young Charlie burst into the office and, looking guilty, started explaining that he mistakenly or carelessly scheduled a meeting with client Sherman in the company's office at the same time as the Alex's meeting with his wife, against whom the client was suing. Alex was furious.
Are you an idiot? How could you schedule a meeting with Sherman at the same time as my meeting with his wife?
Charlie.
The deputy intervened.
How many times have I told you not to be so unprofessional? This is a gross violation of legal ethics.
I am sorry, I made a mistake, I mixed it up.
I will also make a mistake like that. I'll sign your termination instead of giving you a bonus, Charlie.
Mr. Alex, please, maybe there is no need to act so hastily.
Stop whining. Where is Sherman?
He's walking down the corridor.
And his wife?
Her car pulled up to the gatehouse.
Charlie answered in a fluster.
What a disgrace.
The disappointed boss fumed.
If they meet here, the bar association will make jokes about me.
At that moment, a wealthy client, Mr. Sherman, entered the firm and was quickly directed to the boss's office. His wife followed him inside. Seeing the awkward situation, Grace swiftly approached the woman, took her by the arm, and led her to a separate room, thus resolving the conflict of inconsistency in meeting times. The deputy noticed how skillfully Grace led the woman into a separate office and said approvingly and proudly,
"Well done."
In a separate office, Grace began to communicate with the client's wife. It was not an easy conversation. The girl tried very hard to understand her situation, and to support the woman when she heard her difficult, heartbreaking story.
We have 2 adult children. Bobby somehow turned them against me. I'm not needed by anyone.
Well, perhaps you could focus on your career.
Grace, at 20 years old, it seems like you can start your life all over again. But what is my life? A housewife with a husband. Dear Grace, all the doors are already closed for me. He also threw me out.
The unhappy woman said, almost in tears.
He threw me out like an unwanted puppy, and now he's enjoying himself in our house with his lover. You can't understand how humiliating it is after all these years. I'm sorry.
Grace listened attentively to the unhappy woman, contemplating how she could help her. At the same time, in the adjacent office, her husband expressed his frustration.
God, she has become so annoying with her complaining, her phone calls. How can't she understand that she's nobody, or rather, nothing in my life anymore? I hope the divorce process won't take too long.
Alex responded.
The divorce cases I handle never last longer than my clients would like.
I hope it's the same this time.
Don't doubt it. Our firm has extensive experience in resolving such situations. I believe we can reach a settlement with your wife without even going to court.
The client let out a deep sigh and said,
I really hope so. I don't need this extra hassle before the elections. Just throw her some money so she disappears from my life completely.
Meanwhile, Grace was providing guidance to the distressed wife.
You need to fight. And don't believe anyone who says you don't stand a chance. The truth is on your side.
Nowadays, the truth only matters in terms of money.
The woman replied sadly.
Yes, there's little justice in the world, but let's say you give up now. It will be all over the newspapers. And other women, even though they know they are right, will lose hope. The world will only become worse because of it.
Grace, do you really think so?
Yes.
The girl answered.
That's strange. I thought you invited me here to offer me a payoff, to offer me a buyout so I wouldn't make a scandal.
I don't know what they will offer you, but regardless, think about what I said.
At that moment, the head of the company entered the room.
Grace, please leave us with Mrs. Shearman.
Grace left.
Well, Mrs. Shearman.
He began his conversation with her. But the woman, encouraged by Grace, already knew how to stand her ground and not give up. Exiting the room, Grace encountered a happy Charlie, beaming with gratitude.
Gracie! Thank you so much!
You saved me.
Don't mention. It just happened naturally.
We owe you,
added the deputy, placing a small gift in the girl's hands.
It's not necessary.
It is.
Well done, girl,
added the janitor. The door opened, and the boss with Mrs. Shearman emerged from the room.
So, you don't want to accept our terms? You do understand that you'll lose the case, right?
I might lose the money, but I'll save face,
said the lady, bidding everyone farewell.
I don't understand anything,
said the disappointed head of the law firm.
How did it happen? By the way, Grace, can I call you by your first name?
Of course.
Thank you very much. You have been an amazing grace to us and saved us. Please, welcome to the family.
Everyone applauded.
And one more thing. Finally change your hairstyle,
said the boss. The girl, surprised, touched her hair with her hand. The next day, a young beautiful lady entered the office of the firm. She allowed Charlie to kiss her hand and then approached Grace with surprise.
So, you're the new secretary of my Alex?
Yes. And may I ask who you are?
The lady didn't answer but only smirked mischievously.
Well, finally, they found at least one decent secretary,
she said and entered the boss's office.
I have a great idea,
said the girl, hugging her boyfriend.
Remember we watched the program about the beauty contest that will take place in a month? I would really like you to be the chairman of the jury.
Why do I need that?
Because you want me to win, don't you?
I do.
Great. So, you and I will go to the boutique right now and buy me the most beautiful dress. Please.
Well, okay, let's go. But I don't have much time. I have an important court hearing today.
At the boutique, Isabella began trying on a beautiful yet simple, in her opinion, white dress recommended by the sales consultant. It turned out to be Jack, the husband of Grace's girlfriend who worked at the boutique.
It looks like a masterpiece, as if it was tailor-made for you,
he said.
It looks too plain to me.
I would say it's refined simplicity.
Isabella was dissatisfied.
It's not suitable. The dress should be expensive and eye-catching.
Just like you are.
Alex chimed in.
The dress should adorn the future beauty queen.
Isabella continued, then she belittled the sales consultant and suddenly noticed a stunning blue dress in the corner, which she immediately went to try on.
Now, this is what I understand. It's a dress you can proudly wear on stage, and sapphires will sparkle. Darling, do you like it?
Yes, but I like the previous one more.
Probably because it was cheaper.
I'm short on time. I really need to hurry now.
Alex evaded the answer while glancing at his watch. Alex paid for the dress, and they left. Alexander drove to the courthouse. Outside the courtroom, a very nervous Grace was waiting for him.
Mr. Moore!
She said, greeting her boss.
I need just a moment of your time. It's very important. Mr. Robert Sherman should not be allowed to win the case.
Grace, have you taken your temperature? You seem feverish.
But it would be fair.
Grace explained anxiously.
Fair? Let me give you some free advice. If you want to succeed in this case, forget that word once and for all.
So, your only concern is success?
Grace challenged her boss.
Let's talk after the hearing.
No, please wait. You need to know what Robert Sherman's wife told me. It happened 25 years ago.
Alex decided to listen to Grace and walked aside with her. Grace eagerly told him what she had learned on that tense day, her first day on the job, from the client's wife. The boss attentively and deeply listened to her. Their colleague standing nearby looked on in bewilderment. After hearing Grace's entire story, he was clearly deeply impressed by something and headed to the courtroom. The trial has begun. Then it was time for Alex's presentation. Alex stood up from the table where he sat next to his client and spoke.
25 years ago, these people met for the first time. At some point, they realized they wanted to spend their whole lives together, to grow old together and even die together. Life is unpredictable, and things happen as they did. But we must not forget how the young promising student Mr. Robert, by chance, gets into an accident, and how doctors inform his wife Mary that he has no more than a month to live. We must not forget how Mary refused to believe the doctors because she loved her husband more than herself and more than her own career, which she gave up to sit by his bedside day and night for a year.
After these words, Alex turned to Mary Shearman.
Tell me, Mrs. Shearman, have you forgotten the lullabies you sang to your husband while he was in a coma? You sang them because you believed he could hear you. You placed your hand on his heart and listened to its beat. And for that heartbeat, you were willing to sacrifice everything, isn't that right? And you, Mr. Robert?
The successful lawyer addressed his client.
Do you understand that the miracle, the healing, that occurred to you, is not owed to the doctors or the medications, but to the love of this fragile woman, a love that may have wavered but preserved the most precious thing you have: your life.
A funereal silence fell over the courtroom. Robert, placing his hand on his head, lowered his gaze. It was evident that something profound was happening inside him. Grace watched with great excitement and deep admiration as her boss delivered a moving speech. She had managed not only to persuade him to change his attitude towards this case but also to understand, on a human level, what had truly happened in the lives of this married couple. Afterward, Alex addressed the judge.
Your Honor, it seems that Mr. Shearman and his spouse have something to talk about.
The judge left the hall.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The client Robert said to the departing judge.
I agree to all your conditions.
He gently said to his wife.
And Alex, thank you. During your speech, it suddenly dawned on me that I owe Mary so much. That all my money wouldn't be enough to repay you.
He continued, now addressing Mary herself. He shook hands with Alex, his attorney, and gently embraced his wife, walking out of the courtroom with her. Grace, extremely encouraged, rushed up to Alex.
Mr. Alex Moore!
Call me Alex, please.
Interrupted her the boss.
Alex, your speech was simply amazing.
Amazing Grace,
said Alex smiling, looking at shining Grace, suddenly remembering the famous church song he heard in his childhood, often sang by his mother.
I can't find the words to express it.
Continued Grace.
I can give you the lyrics later,
said the man kindly to the girl, using word play.
Alex. How did it go?
Isabella interrupted, entering the courtroom, eagerly awaiting him in the corridor.
We'll talk later, Grace,
Alex said thoughtfully. Then, turning around, he walked towards the exit with Isabella.
I'll tell you on the way.
A few days later, an excited Isabella entered the law firm's office. She held in her hand an issue of a popular magazine featuring Isabella on the cover in her newly chosen dress, in which she was going to compete in a beauty contest. Isabella proudly showed this magazine issue to the amazed employees of the firm.
Have you seen this? Envy me.
Isabella said and handed the magazine to the astonished Charlie.
Wow, cool.
What do you mean, cool? It's fabulous. Isabella Winter's stunning photo shoot, the top contender for the Beauty Queen title.
Isabella read aloud the caption under her photo in the magazine.
From zero to hero.
Quietly commented the experienced lady janitor of the firm.
That's how real stars are born.
Isabella commented out loud on her impending success.
Isabella, I'll repeat what I said to Alex too. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't rush to brag prematurely. You still have to win the competition.
Alex will be the chairman of the jury, and I think he knows a thing or two about true beauty.
Then Isabella, as if on purpose, sharply turned towards the table where a stunned Grace was sitting, and exclaimed loudly.
Oh! I almost forgot the main thing. After the competition, Alex and I are going on a romantic trip to celebrate our engagement.
Saying this with a dose of malice, Isabella tossed her magazine onto Grace's desk in such a way that the cover with her photo in the new dress ended up right in front of her downcast gaze. Grace was terribly embarrassed.
Congratulations.
Charlie said without any joy through his teeth, followed by everyone else in the office, but also without much enthusiasm.
Thanks for chatting, everyone.
Isabella replied and left. Grace, clearly upset, tried to staple some documents together, but it didn't work. The stapler wasn't functioning, which only irritated her more. In the evening, in the company of friends, Grace began to cry uncontrollably.
Grace, did you get fired from work again?
I wish I was fired.
The girl sobbed.
Grace, at least explain what happened.
Her friend sincerely asked.
Alex, he's such a good person. You should have heard the speech he gave in court. It was magical.
Oh my God! How lovely! Are you in love with your boss? So why are you crying? You should be happy!
Exclaimed the girlfriend.
Be happy? Have you ever thought that he might have someone else?
Grace handed her friend a magazine with Isabella's photo.
Of course, stealing a man's bride is a despicable act. The law of the boomerang hasn't been abolished. You reap what you sow,
said Greta.
But Grace, are you sure he truly loves that supermodel from the magazine? You yourself said, according to your cleaning lady, that Alex changed women like gloves. What kind of love can there be, anyway? And does he really intend to marry her? Just because Isabella said it in front of everyone doesn't mean it's true. Who knows, maybe subconsciously he's looking for someone like you, who saw in him not just a successful businessman, but that hidden gem covered in dust. So don't be afraid to draw his attention if you really love him, and really care for him.
Her friend Greta continued to express her thoughts.
Draw his attention to me?
Asked Grace with surprise.
Greta, look at her and look at me.
Grace pointed to the photo of the beautiful model on the magazine cover.
She's stunning, and I'm Miss Fearsome.
Miss Fearsome? Is that how you see yourself?
Her friend Greta took off Grace's horrible wig, untied the beautiful hair hidden beneath it, and placed a mirror in front of her.
Look at her now and look at yourself. She doesn't hold a candle to you.
Ladies!
Jack interrupted, having found details about the upcoming beauty contest in the ill-fated magazine.
Listen, this contest that Isabella is excited about is taking place this Thursday, and our esteemed Alex Moore will be the chairman of the jury. So, any girl who passes the preliminary screening can participate in this Queen of Spring contest. This is your chance, Grace. You'll be able to catch Alex's attention.
Brilliant.
His wife confirmed.
Well, it's like a marketplace, putting yourself on display instead of merchandise.
The girl responded dissatisfied.
Relax, it says here that the participation fees for the contest will be donated to the Nature Conservation Fund.
Resourceful Jack comforted the girl. Grace calmed down and looked hopefully at her friend. Time passed, and the long-awaited Thursday arrived, along with the beauty contest.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
The host said, opening the contest.
The Queen of Spring contest is officially declared open, and today you will all witness how beauty fights not only for peace but also for nature and ecology.
Behind the scenes, the girls were getting ready to go on stage. Makeup artists helped Isabella put on her royal dress with a train and style her long hair. Grace needed a nice dress for the contest, and Jack, who worked at a boutique, took a risk and managed to lend her that beautiful white dress at the last moment, the same one Isabella had rejected.
Here, take it.
Jack said.
Oh, thank you so much.
Grace happily started trying on the dress.
If you only knew what I had to go through to discreetly take it out of the store. So if anything happens to it, I won't just get fired, I'll be working it off for a whole year,
said Jack.
Listen, I don't know how the dress is, but I'm going to have a heart attack.
Greta said.
We have the runway show in 20 minutes.
Okay, be careful.
Jack said with a hint of fear, handing the girls such an expensive dress. Isabella sat nearby, angrily scolding her assistant, who had been doing her hair for about an hour.
Thanks,
Grace said, eagerly taking the white dress in her hands.
Well, good luck to you. Tear everyone apart here, except for this dress. I need to return it soon. I'm heading back to work,
said Jack. A voice of the beauty pageant MC resounded from the hall.
The first competition is the evening gown parade. The girls are to walk across the stage, showcasing their evening dresses. To your applause, I want to invite to this stage one of the most famous models, this charming girl, Isabella Winter. Contestant number 1.
Isabella walked onto the stage to applause, wearing her beautiful blue dress with a long train. She skillfully moved across the stage, distributing airy kisses to the audience, captivating the judges and the crowd with her grace. But suddenly, as she tried to make a swift turn on the stage, she accidentally stepped on her own enormous train and fell to the ground in front of everyone. Isabella quickly got up, smiling widely to reassure the audience. With one hand, she adjusted her hair, disheveled from the fall, and with the other, she picked up the royal train that had come loose from her dress and swiftly left the stage. Despite her unwavering smile, her face showed clear disappointment from such an unfortunate turn of events. The judges, especially Alex, looked embarrassed.
She handled dropping that train gracefully. Overall, she seemed talented to me.
Alex commented to his neighbor. The embarrassed beauty pageant host put on a fitting smile and announced to the entire hall.
No worries. As they say, the first pancake is always a bit lumpy. Isabella will have another opportunity to showcase herself. And now, to your applause, I want to introduce contestant number 2 on this stage.
One by one, the girls went on stage, showcasing their evening dresses. Meanwhile, Grace sat in the dressing room, where makeup artists helped her with her hairstyle. Suddenly, the voice of the host resounded in the hall once again.
And finally, let me introduce our last contestant for the competition, number 33, Mercedes Rivera.
Oh, that's me.
Grace exclaimed excitedly.
Well, Grace, good luck.
Her friend Greta encouraged her. In the hall, applause filled the air as Grace stepped onto the stage in her simple yet elegant white dress, under the fictional name and surname she had chosen. Moving fluidly like a white swan gliding across a serene lake, she captured the attention of the judges and the entire audience. Alex, tired from the long show, sat with his head down, but his eyes were drawn back to the stage, where he saw Grace Pearson gracefully gliding. His gaze seemed fixated on her, and his thoughts whirled like a vortex. Little did he know that this mysterious fairy was none other than his secretary, the one he had referred to as Miss Fearsome in order to be fired when they first met. As he looked at the beautiful girl, Alex pondered deeply, as if he had discovered something that his soul, entangled in endless love affairs and the pursuit of profit, had been desperately searching for. He didn't yet know how to put his profound thoughts, feelings, and impressions into words, but deep down, he realized that he needed to meet and talk to this girl. At that moment, Jack called Greta, who was supporting Mercedes Rivera, backstage.
Greta, return the dress immediately.
I can't talk right now.
Okay.
Who is that girl?
An astonished Alex asked his fellow jury member sitting to his right.
Mercedes Rivera.
The person replied, looking at the list of all the competition participants.
A queen,
said a jury member sitting next to him. Alex nodded thoughtfully and applauded Grace. Amidst the applause and smiles from the audience, the girl charmingly left the stage. The host returned to the stage and announced.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 12 finalists contending for the title of Spring Queen.
The stage was filled with the 12 girls who made it through the selection process. Among them were Isabella Winter and Mercedes Rivera, i.e., Grace Pearson.
Now, the most challenging stage of our competition begins, the intellect round. Each of them will have the opportunity to showcase the clarity of their minds and the beauty of their inner world. I will ask each of them a question. Pay attention.
The host approached the first girl.
Please, tell us, which book has left the greatest impression on you?
You know, I really admire Fyodor Dostoevsky's novel, The Idiot. It's so lifelike, very realistic. About men. They can be such idiots.
Disappointment was evident on the faces of the male members of the jury.
Thank you very much. I won't ask you to elaborate on the characters of the novel. The next question I want to address to Isabella. Tell me, do you have a dream?
Yes, you know, I have a dream.
Isabella began her speech, imitating Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous speech that started with those very words.
Actually, I don't need money, fame, or wealth. I just want peace in the world and for all people on planet Earth to be happy.
Alex coughed at the pompous words. He knew quite well what Isabella truly dreamed of. The girl continued.
I just want people on Earth to be happy. And I am willing to give everything for it.
Even the crown of the beauty queen?
The host cunningly tried to clarify.
Of course. It's my dream.
Isabella finished her speech, as if it had been written beforehand, and applause filled the room.
Many men in the hall thought to themselves, she's truly a dream.
The host cleverly played along with Isabella in the competition. Meanwhile, Greta, who was watching everything from behind the scenes, received another call from Jack, who was worried about the dress.
I'll call you back.
Okay.
He replied with obvious concern. On stage, the girls continued to take turns answering the host's questions.
If we treat each other and everything around us with love, our world will become better and kinder.
Another contestant expressed a completely banal truth. Her words hardly touched Alex, who was immersed in his own thoughts.
The next question I want to address, to you.
The host approached Grace.
Is beauty truly a formidable force?
Grace smiled broadly and replied.
It's no wonder the Italians named the deadly poisonous plant belladonna, which means beautiful woman in translation. But the power of external beauty is dual. It can bring both joy and destroy lives. Only beauty of the soul is worthy not only to be fallen in love with, but also of being loved.
And do you truly believe that the beauty of the soul can save the world?
The host cunningly asked Grace.
We live in a world that we ourselves have corrupted. We drink poisoned water, breathe poison air, but it's all in our hands. We must admit that we are to blame for this and quickly correct our mistakes for the sake of our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, who, I believe, should live on a beautiful, clean, green planet.
Excellent answer.
The audience erupted in enthusiastic applause.
I think both the guests and our esteemed jury will appreciate this answer.
The host declared with admiration.
Bravo, simply bravo,
he exclaimed, and the room filled with triumphant music. Alex attentively listened to the girl's response, nodding in agreement.
I think it's clear.
Alex said to his fellow jury members. They nodded in agreement.
Yes, the outcome seems obvious,
added a female jury member. Alex stepped into the corridor to take some fresh air, and suddenly saw the same Mercedes Rivera gliding towards him like a swan. Grace, upon seeing her boss, ran away from him up the stairs. Alex chased after the girl.
Where are you rushing off to? I don't bite. Hello. My name is Alex.
Nice to meet you, Alex.
You have amazed me. I simply can't take my eyes off you, and the speech you delivered was simply magnificent. I'm at a loss for words.
Thank you.
By the way, I head the jury and I'm the CEO of
Almore and Partners.
Grace finished his sentence for him.
Of course, I know. It's one of the best law firms in the city, and you're one of the most renowned lawyers. And I also know that you're arrogant, unpunctual, don't value your employees, and only respect yourself and your own opinion.
Very interesting. Who told you all this? It's all just the machinations of jealous people. Nowadays, you can't trust anyone.
The girl smiled. Then she added.
So, I suppose you don't believe either that you're a womanizer and a heartbreaker, and love is no more than just a game to you?
What else?
I'm sorry, Alex. Perhaps I spoke too harshly. Maybe you simply haven't had the opportunity to showcase your best qualities.
At that moment, Grace noticed Greta standing behind Alex, gesturing that the dress needed to be returned.
You know, Mercedes, let me tell you this.
Alex tried to justify himself, but Grace interrupted him.
Excuse me, I have to go. It was nice to meet you, Alex.
Where are you rushing?
Grace quickly caught up with her friend Greta.
Grace, you rocked the stage. Jack keeps calling every 5 minutes. We need to return the dress.
Wait, how much time do we have left?
Half an hour.
Well, then let's go return the dress.
They left. Meanwhile, Alex, the head of the jury, returned to the hall and stepped onto the stage.
The jury has deliberated and unanimously decided to award this beauty crown to Mercedes Rivera.
Isabella, who was standing nearby, confidently smiled, expecting to hear that she would be the winner, but to her disappointment, Alex announced a different name. The hall erupted with applause. Isabella's face was filled with complete bewilderment. Everyone applauded except her.
We invite contestant number 33 to the stage.
The host of the competition said. The winner's tune began to play, but there was no winner.
As I have just been informed, Mercedes cannot be found at the moment. It seems that the nerves got to her, but we won't lose hope. Everything will be fine.
The MC said and handed the microphone to Alex.
We won't worry. I personally promise you that I will find the winner and present her with this beauty queen crown.
The hall applauded once again. Alex and Isabella drove home together.
No, you don't love me.
Isabella said in deep disappointment.
I don't understand how you could do this.
Isabella, I wasn't the only one on the jury.
But you should have influenced them somehow. Aren't you the head of the jury or something?
I don't owe anybody anything. You shouldn't have done this circus with the dress.
It's not my fault. I've already told you.
Whose fault is that? You bought something incomprehensible.
Well, you know what?
Isabella raised her voice.
Isabella, I've had enough of your tantrums.
Oh, be careful.
Isabella shouted, noticing an elderly woman standing on the road, towards which their car was heading. Alex abruptly hit the brakes. The elderly woman ended up just a meter away from their stopped car.
Grandma, what are you doing? Why would you throw yourself under the wheels? It's 3 a.m. You should have been home and sleeping by now.
Why are you shouting at me? You should apologize instead, brute. And, by the way, you should respect the elderly, you know?
Please excuse me. Are you okay?
Everything's fine, thank God.
The elderly woman replied. Isabella interjected in the conversation.
Maybe you should apologize to me. Stop apologizing to her.
Get in the car.
Alex replied.
I'm not going.
Isabella, don't anger me.
So what? You're sick of me already? You don't care about me at all.
Do you want to talk about it? Let's talk. I have realized one important thing for myself. I never loved you, I don't love you, and I will not love you. We have nothing in common. It's over.
The elderly woman, who found herself in the middle of this relationship dispute, looked at Alex and Isabella with interest. Isabella forced a bitter smile and said,
Screw you.
And walked away.
Son, you're right.
The elderly woman said.
Without love, nothing, absolutely nothing is worth anything.
Suddenly, the woman spotted her lost dog and ran after it. The next day, almost all newspapers and magazines featured Grace's photograph on their covers and front pages. The headlines read, "The crown seeks its queen, where did our Cinderella run off to? The crown is here, but where's the queen?" Everyone wrote about her unexpected success. People on the streets were reading this story with interest, examining Grace's portrait on the newspaper stands, while Grace herself walked by, heading to work, wearing a dark, unattractive wig, large glasses covering her eyes, and dressed in dark work attire. Meanwhile, in the office of the law firm where Grace worked, the office employees watched the video recording of the beauty contest with interest and laughed together at the moment when Isabella's train spectacularly detached as she fell, revealing back part of her body.
The queen with her bare ass!
Young Charlie laughed at Isabella.
Watch your language, or our boss might walk in here, and you're talking about his girlfriend like that,
said Sophia, who was standing next to him.
Sophia. Do you remember our boss ever coming to work on time? Do you think today is the exception?
Charlie tried to justify himself.
Well, he won't come on time, that's for sure, but he'll definitely show up in a bad mood because Isabella lost,
said the deputy chief of the firm, supporting him.
He'll throw his cape at me, as usual,
Sophia said.
And he'll call me an idiot,
added Charlie.
And he'll forget to greet me,
said Alex's deputy. Suddenly, the office door opened, and the head of the firm walked in. Sophia rushed to take his coat, accustomed to the fact that the boss usually throws it to her right across the office floor.
No, thank you, I'll do it myself,
Alex said. Then he turned to Charlie.
Hello. Well done, Charlie, a great report.
He warmly shook his hand. Young Charlie continued to stand there like a statue with his hand extended after the handshake, not understanding what miracle had happened with his usually stern boss.
Hello, my dear Benjamin.
Alex addressed his deputy. The surprised man asked the boss, looking at his watch.
Mr. Alex, did something happen?
No, nothing. I just decided that I will always come to work on time from now on,
Alex replied. Then he addressed the whole team.
Colleagues, I would like to apologize to all of you. Charlie, I'm sorry for being so rude to you at times.
Oh, don't worry about it, everything is fine,
Charlie replied.
Dear Sophia, I apologize for being such a slob, but I promise I will improve.
The boss addressed the cleaner.
Our good old Benjamin, I'm very grateful to you. You're my mentor and teacher. Grace, I bought you a new stapler.
He turned to Grace, who had just entered the office and was looking at her watch in surprise.
It's a small thing, but I hope it will serve you well.
Thank you,
the girl replied.
Well, have a good day, and finally take this thing down from the wall.
Alex pointed to his huge portrait hanging on the wall. Alex entered his office, sat down, and took out a magazine with a freshly printed photo and article about the beauty contest winner. He asked everyone to gather in his office.
I need to present the winner's crown to this girl.
Alex raised the magazine with Grace's photo high in front of him and added,
And you will help me with that. So, my friends, we have a challenging task, to call all the women in the city with the surname Rivera, as well as meet with the organizers of the contest, the costume designers, the makeup artists, the security personnel, and the cleaners. And also, meet with all the spectators.
How many were there?
Charlie asked.
Not many, about 1,000.
Reassured him the deputy.
And Grace, I appoint you as the head of the search team.
Me?
Grace started to stutter.
Yes. Exactly you. I'm counting on your talent for solving difficult problems. I'll be waiting for a report on the progress tomorrow.
Sitting in a cafe, Grace sought advice from her friend Greta.
What do I do now? How can I look him in the eye? Should I say, I'm sorry, Mr. Alex, but I couldn't find myself?
Don't worry. You'll come up with something. Take a cue from your Alex, he's always lying about something.
Her friend replied.
You don't understand.
Grace responded.
He has started to change significantly, and he even apologized to everyone today. And he gave me a stapler.
A stapler?
Greta whispered with wide eyes. She took the stapler in her hands and playfully clicked it around as if spraying herself with French perfume.
A stapler, a stapler, a stapler. That's cool.
She said mockingly.
It's not funny. I'm completely confused. Lying is disgusting, but I don't know how to confess everything.
Meanwhile, Alex walked into the boutique where Jack worked, hoping to find some clue that might lead him to the mysterious Mercedes Rivera. He noticed a mannequin wearing the same dress Mercedes was wearing during the contest. He asked Jack the salesman about it, but the salesman tried his best to convince him that the dress only looked like the one the contest winner was wearing, but in reality, the dress had stayed in the store the whole time. Alex couldn't find any leads, even in the store. Alex returned to his office. Grace, whom Alex was desperately looking for, entered the room.
What's the news?
He asked.
We've questioned everyone, but unfortunately, we haven't found anything yet.
Alex turned pale.
Mr. Moore, are you okay? Are you feeling unwell?
Grace asked in a bit of fear and worry. He remained silent for a minute and then replied,
Yes, I'm not well. Find her for me.
All right.
Grace responded and left the boss's office. Alex looked sadly at the crown he had promised to return to the contest winner. On the way home, as she pondered what to do, Grace imagined the following scene: a happy couple walking down the street, she as she is, without any disguise, in a beautiful dress, and Alex. He passionately embraces her, spins her around and abruptly places her on the nearest bench. Suddenly the stapler he gave her falls out of her purse. Alex picks it up, looks at it attentively, and asks,
Is this yours? I thought I gave it to Grace.
Alex! I've wanted to confess to you for a long time that I am the one. I am Grace.
No, it can't be. Have you been deceiving me all this time?
I'll explain everything to you.
I don't want any explanations.
Alex says sharply and starts walking away from her.
Alex!
She cries after him, but he disappears without a trace. Lost in her thoughts, Grace daydreams along the way and fails to notice a large truck on the road ahead, shattering all her fantasies in an instant. In the evening, the deeply troubled girl attempts to compose a letter for Alex several times but fails. Finally, she manages to write a note. She takes an envelope and puts it inside. The next morning, she arrives at work before her boss and quietly sneaks into his cabinet, placing the envelope with the letter on his laptop. The cleaning lady enters the room and asks why Grace is here so early.
I prepared some documents for Mr. Alex.
Grace replies and leaves the office. The cleaning lady notices a white envelope on the computer. She approaches the boss's desk and picks it up. 10 minutes later, a distraught and pale Alex enters the office. Without greeting anyone, he heads straight to his cabinet.
Our boss looks completely awful. There's no expression on his face.
Sophia says. Suddenly, an animated Alex rushes out of his room, holding the envelope with Grace's letter.
Who brought this?
Everyone in the office shakes their heads in bewilderment, indicating that they don't know.
Probably a courier.
Grace suggests. The cleaning lady, Sophia, looks suspiciously at Grace and takes mental note of something. Alex opens the letter again. It reads,
Dear Alex, I'll be waiting for you at the Bohemian House restaurant at 8 p.m. There are many things we need to talk about. Mercedes Rivera.
His deputy enters the office and reminds him of an important meeting with a client that evening. Alex assures him that he must be somewhere else that night and asks him to handle everything without him, mentioning that Grace will definitely help. He called Grace into his office.
Grace, I need your help. I need you and Benjamin to meet with Mr. Perkins today instead of me. I beg you.
Well, I was actually planning to leave early today. My friend is sick.
Grace was asking with a pleading voice.
Grace, I'm counting on you. Any expenses for medications will be covered by the company.
Benjamin kindly took Grace aside and said,
Don't worry, I'll handle the meeting myself. You can go to your friend without any worries.
Grace was relieved and thanked him. Just an hour before the meeting with Mercedes Rivera, Alex's ex-girlfriend Isabella came to his house. Seeing his cold attitude towards her, she quickly came up with an excuse for her unwelcome visit.
Alex, I need to pick up some of my things. Will you allow me?
Yes, of course, but be quick. I have an important meeting today. So, please, Isabella, hurry up.
Isabella went into the bedroom.
Darling, come to me.
Isabella suddenly called him from the bedroom.
Did you gather your things?
Sweetie.
Isabella spoke in a flirtatious voice, lying on the bed.
Stop being angry with your little kitten. I promise that I will never twist your arm and raise my...
Please, stop!
Alex abruptly interrupted her, freeing himself from her embrace.
Stop trying to appease me.
Well, enough with the anger.
Tried to return the favor of a former lover. Isabella.
What kind of person are you?
Alex stopped her romantic attempts.
Do you have any self-respect at all?
Isabella abruptly grabbed her things and turned around, saying with a warning.
I can't be treated like this. Do you understand me?
And she left the house. In the restaurant, Alex eagerly awaited Mercedes. The beauty queen girl arrived on time. Seeing her from afar, Alex stood up from the table and went to meet her.
Hello, Mercedes. I'm glad to see you.
He said and helped her to sit at the table. He recognized her instantly, as Grace was without her wig, her big glasses, and all the other disguises.
Mercedes, I hope this time you'll be more favorable towards me.
The girl smiled widely.
I've been looking for you to return the crown you rightfully won.
Thank you. I must confess something to you.
Grace began the conversation.
Do you have 3 children and a jealous husband?
Alex interrupted her.
No. I have to confess that.
Grace didn't have time to finish her thought, because Isabella appeared out of nowhere in the hall and ran up to their table, very excited. Somehow she found out about this meeting.
Alex, hi. I've been looking for you everywhere.
She ran up to Alex and kissed him on the cheek, then turned to Grace and remarked.
Oh, the Queen of Beauty herself. Your Majesty.
How did you end up here?
That's not important. I have news, darling. I just visited the doctor, and he told me that we're going to have twins.
It can't be.
Alex replied.
How could it not be? It sure can.
Grace, who was in love with Alex, watched this scene in horror, not knowing where to hide her eyes.
My grandmother also had twins once.
Isabella continued.
I have a certificate. I'll show you now.
Let's talk about it some other time.
Well, now, as a decent person, you are obligated to marry me.
Isabella said, looking into the astonished Grace's face. In horror, Grace stood up from the table and quickly headed for the exit.
Hey, Queen! You forgot your crown!
Isabella called after her.
Mercedes!
Shocked Alex tried to stop the girl. That's how their meeting ended, and Grace was once again left alone with her secret. The next morning, Alex entered the firm. And after him, a distraught Grace. The janitor asked her.
Why are you so late? The boss is already at work.
Well, it's about time for Mr. Alex to become responsible as a future father.
Sofia Hernandez looked at her with surprised eyes and asked.
How do you know that? Why did you decide that?
At that moment, Isabella entered the office and told the janitor that she and Alex had decided to get married.
In connection with this, I want to ask for your help with cleaning the apartment. The doctor prohibited me from doing such strenuous tasks.
Alex came out of his office.
I was passing by and decided to drop by. I came up with a wonderful idea. Let your secretary help us with organizing the engagement.
Where do such wonderful ideas come from in your head?
Alex protested. The next day, while at Alex's home, Isabella asked the janitor to bring her some water while Isabella was lying in bed. Sofia brought a glass of water and started getting ready to leave. She looked in the mirror to fix her hair when she suddenly noticed that the mirror reflected Isabella lying on the bed. Sofia's eyes widened in surprise. Isabella took some pills from a vial on the table and swallowed them, washing them down with the water from the glass that had been brought to her. Sofia remembered the name of the medicine that Isabella had taken in front of her eyes. She had seen it before while cleaning the room. In the morning, approaching Grace's desk, she said to her,
Let's look up online what this medicine is used for.
Grace typed the name of the pills in the search bar. The search engine gave the following answer to the query: contraceptive pills that. Grace paused for a moment, deep in thought, and then added.
Why would a pregnant woman take contraceptive pills? So Isabella isn't pregnant?
She's such a witch!
Exclaimed Sofia.
So we need to save Alex.
Grace said.
Yes, we need to save him, but how? In 2 hours, he's getting engaged to this femme fatale.
2 hours later, they, as assistants, were in the banquet hall where the guests invited by Isabella had arrived. But no one had seen Alex anywhere. Isabella tried to call him, but he didn't pick up the phone. Unfortunate Alex was in a bar at that hour, trying to drown his pain and despair in glasses of whiskey.
Do you know where Alex is?
Isabella asked. Sofia and Grace replied that they didn't know. Then Isabella, looking at their modest appearance, said,
You shouldn't be seen in public. Go to the kitchen and sit there. You'll be called when needed.
Grace decided to call Alex herself, trying to find out where he was. To her big surprise, Alex answered the call.
Mr. Alex, this is Grace.
Hello, Grace, it's great to hear from you.
Alex sincerely replied, slightly drunk.
Where are you? Everyone is waiting for you.
Let them wait, I'm not coming.
Alex replied in despair.
Where are you?
I'm at the Darren Bar and Restaurant. Do you know where that is?
I'll come to you right now.
Come on, Grace, come over.
Grace went to the restaurant.
So, where did Grace disappear to?
Sofia wondered.
Why does everyone disappear today?
Grace arrived at the restaurant where her boss was trying to relieve stress. He was delighted to see the caring nice girl and asked her to sit next to him at the bar.
I'm so glad you came. You know why? Because you're sincere and very intelligent. Maybe not as beautiful as Monica Bellucci, but you have some charm in you, so let's drink to you and your charm.
I don't drink.
Grace replied.
And you, Alex, have had enough already.
Come on, don't be like that. I've only just begun.
Why aren't you at the engagement party?
What am I missing there? They'll manage without me. Everything is fine. It's Isabella's celebration. And I have my own celebration here.
Alex took a glass of whiskey in his hand and showed it to Grace.
You're just going through a tough time, and statistics say that happens to all fathers.
Grace tried to comfort him, placing her tender, beautiful hand on his shoulder. Alex looked at her hand and was surprised.
Grace, you have very beautiful hands. I never noticed that before.
Thank you. Mr. Alex, you need to go home. I've called a taxi for you.
And you, Grace, you need, understand me correctly, to use the services of a stylist.
Sure.
Thought to herself Grace.
It was due to the services of stylist Greta, my friend, that I got into this mess, and I don't know what to do about it.
In the evening, Grace was talking to her friend Greta.
I still don't understand why you didn't tell him that Isabella isn't pregnant. It's so simple.
He was drunk.
Answered Grace.
So what? You could have told him everything. You could have changed everything. You missed such a chance.
Well, yes, Isabella isn't pregnant. She's lying to him. But how am I any better? I constantly lie to him too. When he finds out, he won't want to see me at all.
The next morning at work, Grace entered Alex's office. He started apologizing.
I'm sorry for burdening you so much yesterday. I've always fallen in love with the wrong women. And I suffered because of it.
Grace handed him her resignation letter. Alex read it and asked.
Don't you like it here with us?
I really like it with you, but that's not the reason. I just need to go to my hometown to be with my family due to personal circumstances. Thank you very much, Alex.
Wait, Grace.
I can't. I have a train to catch, and I haven't packed yet.
Grace left. While packing her things, she talked to her friend.
I don't understand you. Why are you leaving?
Said Greta.
What do you want to hear from me? Yes, I'm leaving because of him. It'll be easier to forget everything this way. And I'll find a job there. Happiness isn't tied to the place.
Can Jack and I at least see you off?
Of course, I would be very happy.
Grace replied. That day Sophia entered Alex's office while cleaning.
What's going on with you, my dear? You've been acting differently lately.
She said.
I've been overwhelmed with everything. I'm tired of these endless divorces. My head is spinning, and now Grace just quit.
Alex said, showing Grace's resignation letter to Sophia.
Such a shame. She was a great employee. And I couldn't find Mercedes either. Although maybe it's for the best. A new life will begin. I'll become a father.
Isabella is not pregnant,
Sophia told him sneakily.
What?
She takes birth control pills. I saw it myself when I was cleaning your apartment.
Why didn't you tell me earlier?
Well, you would have figured it out soon enough.
What an Isabella! How can you ever understand women? They say one thing, think another, and do something completely different.
Alex said, perplexed.
Don't listen to what women say. Look closely at what they hint at, then everything will become clear.
The wise cleaner advised him.
And what do they hint at? Here, for example, Grace's statement, please terminate my employment at my own request, signature.
Alex read Grace's resignation letter to Sophia. After that, he immediately picked up another paper and said,
Here's another hint.
And started reading aloud.
Dear Alex, I'll be waiting for you at the Bohemian House restaurant at 8 p.m. There are many things we need to talk about. Mercedes Rivera.
It was a letter from Grace, who called herself Mercedes Rivera at the beauty contest.
That's all the hints,
said Alex. Suddenly, something clicked in Alex's mind. He quickly grabbed both notes and started comparing the handwriting on both of them. After carefully examining Mercedes's letter and Grace's resignation letter, he suddenly realized and said,
The handwriting is the same. Am I going crazy?
He showed both documents to the wise cleaner. She looked closely at both notes and said,
Well, it's the same handwriting.
Which means that Grace and Mercedes are the same person.
Alex jumped up from the table.
I think her train leaves at 6:05 p.m.
Sophia said.
You must be kidding, Sophia.
Alex said, shocked, and ran to the train station to find his amazing Grace lady, Mercedes. On the platform, Grace was being seen off by her loyal friends, Greta and Jack.
Maybe you'll change your mind after all.
Jack tried to convince her. They hugged each other warmly, and Grace got on the train. At that moment, Alex rushed down the platform with a huge bouquet of roses. He caught up with Jack, who had already said goodbye to Grace.
Alex! Fourth car!
Jack shouted to the sprinting Alex.
Thanks!
Alex replied and quickly ran towards the fourth car. Grace's friends jumped for joy. Grace entered the compartment of the train. Two men, clearly Italians, were sitting nearby. They looked at her and said,
Lady, you are so beautiful, simply fearsome beauty.
They tried to compliment her in a poor English.
Let's drink to our acquaintance. Giordano, bring out your best wine.
One man said to another.
No way. We drank the best wine yesterday.
Well, then, get some of the almost best wine,
insisted his friend. At that moment, the voice of the stewardess echoed through the train corridor.
Sir, I can't let you through. All farewells must leave the train, it's about to depart.
But I'm not saying goodbye.
Alex replied.
I'm catching up.
Hearing the familiar and beloved voice, Grace jumped up and ran towards him.
Alex.
Grace. So, there you are, runaway.
Alex, I'll explain everything to you now.
The girl said, looking at him hopefully.
No need to explain anything, Grace. I know everything about you. There's no need to go anywhere.
Alex replied.
Alex,
Said Grace.
I need to explain everything to you.
No need to explain anything. It is I who needs to explain and confess. I love you, Grace. Grace Fearsome, you are the most amazing, beautiful, and kind person in the world. Will you agree to be my wife?
Tears welled up in the eyes of a nearby female train conductor. Grace and Alex started kissing each other, concealing their passionate embrace with a bouquet of roses. Grace didn't go anywhere. Her family circumstances suddenly changed. And Alex finally fell in love with the girl he would love for the rest of his life. The end. Thank you for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed this amazing story. Please subscribe, like, comment and see you next time on the channel.